Hello guys, I'm Megan. Do your husbands have one of their annoying girl best friends? People who have answered yes to that question may actually relate to my story to some extent. While I can't say if my husband Greg was in love with his best friend Cindy, I can say that she had a special place in his heart. I'm not one of those overly jealous kinds of people, but I do get mad when people stomp my boundaries. Cindy was one boundary-stomping girl, and sadly my husband didn't know any better. Greg and Cindy were always close, and he used to hype her up a lot when he was with me. I thought that maybe she was truly a great girl, and I was really looking forward to meeting her. As I said, guys, I'm not a jealous person, but when I met Cindy at a party and she told me something weird, I was immediately on the alert. She said, "Don't think your relationship is going to last, Megan." Why do you say that, Cindy? I need to make something very clear to you, Megan. Greg is first mine, and then anyone else's. He will always put me first. I don't think you'll be able to handle that. If Greg respects my boundaries and so do you, I don't see how it can be a problem. You do seem to be very sure of yourself, Megan. Let's see what you can do. One thing is for sure, Greg will always be mine. You can't do anything to take him away from me. After that day, I maintained my distance from her. Cindy and Greg were close, but after she met me, Cindy started to actively hang out with Greg even more. She was also an attention seeker and often called Greg for stupid things, especially when he was spending time with me. Greg, to my annoyance, always rushed to her no matter how small the reason was. I can't tell you how many dates I had sacrificed for her sake. Eventually, Greg and I got married, but the Cindy problem never stopped. I often tried to make Greg minimize contact with her and set boundaries. I said, "You need to stop rushing to Cindy whenever she calls you Greg. It is really weird how you drop everything for her, including me." "I'm sorry you feel disrespected, Megan. What can I say? She's my best friend. She doesn't have any family around. I'm the only one she has." "In that case, she needs to find more friends, Greg. She keeps making you cancel things with me, even for the smallest inconveniences. This can't go on, Greg." Okay, I get it, Megan. I'll talk to her and do better. Don't worry. I won't cancel on you or abandon you again. Greg was always good with his words, but not good at keeping them. He made me countless promises of setting boundaries with Cindy, but he never ended up doing it. Nothing changed, and Cindy continued to be a problem for us. 2 years passed, and still I saw no change in Greg or Cindy's behavior. Slowly, my anger had shifted from Cindy to Greg. He was being a bad husband and dropping me every time Cindy wanted his attention. He even abandoned me on dates to go and help her. We constantly fought about it, but again, nothing changed. At one point, I felt like I was going crazy. I started to doubt myself, and I was worried if I was the one with the problem. But my mother-in-law, Lisa, also noticed Greg's behavior and agreed with me. She might be Greg's mother, but Lisa has been an absolute gem to me. I lost my mother when I was a teen. Being with Lisa reminded me a lot of her. Lisa also tried to talk to Greg, but that didn't help either. At least I knew I wasn't crazy and someone was on my side. Things took a drastic turn for me one day. I had gone 2 cities over for a conference and was supposed to come back home by train. I had to take the last train home and needed to be picked up by Greg because it was unsafe that late at night. My train arrived at the station at about 2 a.m. and I called Greg to let him know that I was waiting. He said that he was already on his way. By car, our house was 20 minutes away, and that night it was snowing fairly bad, so I asked Greg to pick me up. I was alone at the station waiting for him. Around 50 minutes passed, but there was no sign of Greg. I was getting really annoyed and wondered what was taking him so long. I was also worried about him because I knew how bad roads could get when it snowed. After waiting for so much time, I decided to give Greg a call and find out where he was. He picked up the phone, and I said in a cautious voice, "Where are you, Greg? I've been waiting here for over 50 minutes. You should have been here in 20 minutes. I'll need some more time to come and pick you up, Megan." "What? Why? You need to hurry up, Greg. The snow's starting to get bad. We need to go home and shut ourselves inside." "It'll be fine, Megan. You just need to wait. I'm already on the road." "Where are you? What's taking you so long if you're already on the road? At least give me a rough idea of how much longer you need." "Well, it'll take another hour." "What? What the hell are you talking about, Greg? Where are you?" "I'm on my way to get Mom from her sister's house." That sentence left me speechless. Guys, this man had left me stranded at a train station at 3 a.m. because he went to pick up his mother instead of me. I was in shock at what he said. I was almost alone at the station, and there were literally like 2 people around. And it was snowing pretty bad. The weather report even said that it would be a very snowy day. But instead of picking me up as soon as he could, Greg chose to drive to get his mother. I was furious, and I said, "What are you talking about, Greg? Don't tell me you're seriously going to pick up your mother while leaving me here." "Oh, God, Megan, why are you acting so offended? I can pick up both of you. I went to Mom first because she desperately wanted to get out of the party. I wasn't going to leave her stranded there." "No, you aren't going to leave her stranded. She's literally in a house, and I am in a freaking train station. What is wrong with you, Greg?" "Will you please relax? I told you I would come and get you. This is a pretty safe city, and you are a grown woman. You'll be fine." "And your mother is a grown woman too, Greg. You didn't need to rescue her from her own sister's house, which is like 2 freaking hours away." "Look, I'm not going to abandon my mother just because you are scared of a little snow. Just come call an Uber if you don't want to wait. I'm hanging up now. I can't concentrate on the road with you yelling in my ear." Greg said that and hung up on me. I tried to call him back, but he wasn't picking up. I couldn't believe what had just happened to me. Greg had not only hung up on me, but also abandoned me at a train station. Did I mention that it was 3 a.m. at night and snowing? Well, it was, and I couldn't find a single cab in sight or on my phone. It was a nightmare for me. After a while, I got so frustrated that I started to cry. I felt abandoned and betrayed by my husband. I couldn't believe that he would do this to me. Time passed, and still there was no sign of my husband anywhere. I guess I was stupidly thinking that he was making a joke and would soon come to get me. But when it was already 3:20 a.m., I decided to give up and take matters into my own hands. My gut told me that there was something fishy going on, so I decided to call the one person who supposedly started this mess. I called my mother-in-law, Lisa. Lisa listened to my frantic call and sounded super surprised at what I said. She then revealed something shocking to me. She said, "What are you talking about, Megan? I'm not at my sister's house. I'm home at my house." "What? You're not at your sister's house? But that's where Greg told me you are. He said he was on his way there to come and get you." "No, Megan. Why would I drive over an hour to my sister's place when I know I might get snowed in? I wasn't going to take that risk." "Then why did Greg tell me that he was going to get you?" "It is clear that Greg has lied to you. He is definitely somewhere else." "Oh, God, I can't believe this." "I don't know what to say, Lisa. I'm stranded at the station and the snow is getting bad. What should I do?" "Don't worry, dear. I'm coming to get you. I've got snow tires on my car, so it won't be a problem." Lisa hung up on me and came to me as soon as possible. She drove to the station and stayed there because I was a crying mess. She even brought me a coat because I said I was too cold. When I was crying, she comforted me as best she could and took me to a nearby cafe that was open. She sat with me while I cried over a glass of coffee. She said, "I'm so sorry for what my son did, Megan. I wish I had raised him right." No, it's not your fault, Lisa. It's Greg who should take all the blame. God, I just hate the two of them. I can understand what you feel, Megan. I still can't believe that he lied to you like this. You were almost freezing, Megan. Thank you so much for coming, Lisa. I don't know what I would have done. It's impossible to walk home in this weather. I wonder what was so urgent that Greg dropped you and lied to you like that. This is really suspicious. You know what? I can see his location since we share each other's phone locations. If he hasn't turned it off, I can find out where he is. I took out my phone and tried to see if I could see Greg's location. It was a long shot because Greg could have easily turned it off, but to my surprise, I was actually able to see where he was. And what I found out absolutely crushed me. He was at Cindy's place. Yes, my husband had abandoned me for freaking Cindy. I showed Lisa my findings and she was pissed as well. After another round of crying over her shoulder, I said, "This is it, Lisa. This is the last straw. He chose freaking Cindy over me again." Oh, God, what the hell was he thinking? I told you, Megan, there is something fishy going on between Greg and Cindy. Did you see those signs as well? I always knew he was bad news, Lisa. I tried so hard to make Greg understand my feelings and set boundaries, but he never listened to me. My son is nothing but a stupid idiot. He doesn't know how badly he has messed up. He shouldn't be treating you this way at all. You are way better than Cindy. He always does this, Lisa. I'm tired of his behavior. Every time he makes promises that he won't do this, still he ends up choosing Cindy over me. I can't take this anymore, Lisa. I can understand that, Megan. What he did today absolutely crossed all limits. It was very unsafe for you to stay at the train station so late, and that too in this horrible weather. I've forgiven him for a lot of things, Lisa, but I don't think I can forgive him for this. I'm done with him. What are you planning to do, Megan? I promise I will help. He really needs to be taught a lesson. I told Lisa what I wanted to do, and she agreed with me wholeheartedly. She was a bit sad for a reason, but I assured her that our relationship won't change. She was like a mother to me, and nothing would change that. That made her a little happy, and she even gave me a hug. Then Lisa told me her own plans for Greg, which I too supported. I had given Greg too much leeway, and he has shown me that he would never change. He claimed that he loved me, but he wasn't even going to make sure of my basic safety and run to his so-called best friend whenever she demanded it. He made his own choices, and I made mine. I stayed behind with Lisa and had a nice meal at the cafe. Thank God there was at least one cafe that chose to remain open even when it was dark and snowy. I was super hungry and needed a meal. Lisa also stayed back with me because she knew there was a confrontation waiting to happen. Meanwhile, 2 hours passed, and soon I got a frantic call from Greg. When I picked up, he panicked and said, "Where are you, Megan? Are you still at the station?" "Yes, I am still at the station, Greg." "Okay, I'm almost here. You can come outside now." I told Lisa that Greg was almost at the station, and she gave me a wicked smile and walked me towards the car park. When Greg finally walked up to where I was supposed to wait for him, he couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Lisa with me. I saw how his face changed in shock, and soon nervousness set in. He was shaking from the cold and looked really panicked. He walked up to us and I said, "Hey, Greg, did you have a nice trip picking up your mom from her sister's house?" Well, Tell me, Greg, when did I call you to come and bring me back from my sister's house? Even I am interested to know that now, Greg. Why did you lie? And what were you doing? Greg had no answer. He was fidgeting and looking at the ground. Lisa and I stood there stoically while waiting for him to tell us exactly where he was. I was giving him a chance to come clean all by himself. He should have taken the chance, but he chose to lie instead. He said, in a nervous voice, "Oh, I was having some trouble with the car, so I stopped at a repair shop. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to scare you. That's it." Really, Greg? Is that what happened today? Yeah, what else would it be? You know that I wouldn't leave you stranded if it wasn't serious. I was really at a repair shop, Megan. Oh, is that so, Greg? Tell me then, when did Cindy open a repair shop? Greg's face became even paler when I mentioned Cindy. He knew that he had been caught. From his reaction, I could tell that he had forgotten about turning off his location, and it didn't even occur to him that I might track him. When I told him about Cindy, he was wondering how I found out, and he actually had the audacity to ask me. How did you know, Megan? How did I know? Well, you certainly forgot that I can track your phone and see where you are. You spied on me? That is wrong, Megan. Don't you dare try to turn this on me, Greg. I am the victim here, not you. After you lied to me and left me stranded like this, I had to know where you were. How could you do this to me, Greg? What can I say? She needed me to pick her up from somewhere because she was drunk. I wasn't going to abandon her. Oh, you had no problem abandoning your wife, but you couldn't do that for your friend. Is that what you're saying, Greg? Greg remained silent and didn't know how to answer my question. He knew he had been caught red-handed, and he also knew what he did was bad. But I don't think he really understood just how badly he had messed up. After some time, he just said, "I'm sorry, Megan. I shouldn't have done this. I promise this will never happen again." You can go to hell with your stupid promises, Greg. I don't want to hear them anymore. I'm freaking done with you. I won't tolerate this behavior anymore. We are done. What? What are you saying, Megan? What I'm saying is that we are getting a divorce. You and I will no longer be married. No, don't say that, Megan. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about it. Don't make any rash decisions. I swear I'll never do this again. It's too late for that now, Greg. We're done. This ends here. I won't be giving you any more chances. Greg started to beg me for forgiveness while I remained stoic. I wanted to scream and cry, but I didn't want to appear weak to him. Yes, I was breaking from the inside, but I wasn't letting Greg see that. He didn't deserve my tears. I was sincerely done with him and had decided to separate from my husband. But Greg wasn't willing to accept that. He begged me to take back my words. When he saw that I wasn't doing what he wanted, he turned to Lisa and sought her help. He said, "Mom, help me here. Tell Megan she's overreacting, Mom." "She's not overreacting, Greg. I think she's doing the right thing." "Mom, she's talking about leaving me. Will you support that too?" "Yes, I will support that too. You have been nothing but a bad husband. I didn't raise you like this. I can't believe the things you have done with Megan. Today you have crossed all limits. There is no coming back from this." "Mom, no, please help me. I can't lose Megan." "You lost her the moment you went to Cindy instead of her. Now you have to suffer the consequences of your actions. Megan is going to divorce you, but that's not all. I have decided to kick you out of the house and go no contact with you for now." "What? Mom, why are you doing this?" "You use my name to do God knows what with another woman. I can't overlook that, Greg. Besides, I don't want to associate with a man who has no regard for his wife's safety. I didn't raise a man like that, and I don't want to be in his life." Lisa's words absolutely broke Greg. He hadn't realized that one single day would end up destroying his marriage and his relationship with his mother. He was a crying mess as he begged us for forgiveness. We ignored him, got in our car, and went home. Lisa strictly told Greg not to come back to our home, so he didn't do that. I'm pretty sure he went to Cindy's house that night, but I didn't even care anymore. I didn't want a man who didn't value me or my safety. I didn't even check his location on my phone. I simply went home and had a good night's rest. Lisa also accompanied me because she didn't want to leave me alone. I was glad for her presence because it brought me some comfort. The next day, Greg showed up to the house to beg for mercy again. He never admitted to any offense, even though Lisa begged him to tell me the truth. Greg maintained that Cindy was only his best friend and he didn't love her. He kept saying that he loved me and would do anything to bring me back. Too bad I wasn't falling for that crap again. I told him that we were done and he would get divorce papers soon. After hours of trying to change my mind, Greg finally collected some of his things and left. That day itself, I went ahead and talked to a lawyer to start preparing for a divorce. Lisa helped me out with that as well. Greg was served divorce papers just like I had said. He went mad for a short while and started to beg me all over again, but I stopped responding to his calls and texts. Instead, I told him that he should only contact me through a lawyer. He tried to show up at my work but got thrown out by security. He harassed me at my house for a few days until Lisa and I threatened to call the cops. In the end, he realized that no one was on his side. He had cut off Cindy from his life, but still, I didn't change my mind. Maybe he did love me because he didn't go running back to her after all. How did I know? Well, Cindy sent me some nasty texts about taking Greg away from her. That was satisfying to read and made both Lisa and I laugh. So, Greg and I are divorced now, and I haven't talked to him in a while. The last time I saw him was on the day we finalized the divorce. He looked broken and had thinned out a lot. I also got to know that he moved into an apartment on his own. Since he worked a higher-paying job than me, he was giving me alimony. I was willing to let it go, but surprisingly he told me to keep it. He was acting all sad and dejected, but again, I didn't care about it at all. I went on with my life, and I'm actually still living in Lisa's house. I'm building up my savings to buy a house, so Lisa insisted I stay at her place rent-free for another year. She visits me often, and we have lots of girl time. She rarely talks to Greg and doesn't even visit him anymore. Maybe their relationship would improve later, but one thing is for sure, Greg and I are done.